You have so many experiences, so many amazing stories. I want to ask, and this is, we're hanging a left here, but I want to talk a little bit about your becoming a firefighter, the first firefighter in the city. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
First woman firefighter.
Woman firefighter.
So I had always loved adventure, and like I told you before, running in while others were running out doesn't scare me. And so how was I going to put myself through school? Yeah, firefighting. EMT, all the way, baby. And so I decided that was going to be a really great thing for me because it was flexible with the schedule.
Sure.
I got to take care of people. I got to do danger. I got to hang around really sexy men.
And we got the real reason.
That's a perk.
Those firefighters.
Oh, man. Men in uniform, because my first daughter, Ariel's dad's a police officer. That's how we met, was going to EMT school together in Ogden. And and it was just a thing. I loved it so much. And it was easy. Nursing school, because of all the chemistry and the biology and the math, hated that. But when you actually get me live and I get to like do IVs and do IOs and all those really cool stuff and work under pressure and not freak out and be calm and level-headed and bring that to your department, that was a thing for me. And I was okay if it was dangerous, because someone's got to do it. Mm-hmm. And if I can save a child's life and run into a burning building and save my partner's life, or I can help my fellow police officers who secure the scene before we go in, thank you for that, then I didn't even think about it. It's like second nature. It's like riding a bike is just a thing. Like in Turkey, I didn't even think about it. It was like bloodhound in me just goes right to it. It's a thing, And so I did that while I was here. And then when I became pregnant, I had to go back to Austin, Texas. And I was on the department out in Longview, Texas. And I loved it out there. And I was the second only female on the department out there in a very male-run department. Utah is much more women-friendly than the Texas back then was, but that was in 1989.
Still Texas.
Still Texas.
It's still the same. But so when I moved back here, I wasn't on the department anymore because I'd got my career and my degree and things like that. But we moved to Eagle Mountain. And that's where they asked me to be on the planning commission and things like that. And back then there was no fire department, nothing. It was the middle of nowhere with no EMS. So we didn't have fire trucks. We had EMS.
Part of county, right?
Pardon me?
Part of county. You were part of Utah County?
Nope.
Oh, really?
Eagle Mountain Fire and Rescue is what we were called. We were all volunteer.
Oh, wow.
And we had the rigs at our house, and we would respond from our home as volunteers because we didn't have stations and those things. I lived in the ranches, and they were building the station out in town center. And so us on the department in the ranches had the rigs at our home, and then everyone in the town center, we'd have the station. And so that's...
So you would drive the rig to the location, and then people would meet just like a PTA meeting. They'd show up at the emergency, like, okay.
Yeah.
And we're here.
Yeah. And back in the day, when the population wasn't very many, we didn't get very many calls. We would call sheriffs in to handle any scene safety, things like that. But we would handle all of the EMS calls. And then we would call the surrounding departments like Lehigh to handle the fire calls because we didn't have fire stations. So we handled all the EMS and all of that. And while we were still doing our trainings and get our wild cards and getting our certifications up, all those things, it was really awesome. So I got to meet a lot of the great people out at the Lehigh Fire Department where we held all of our classes. And it was awesome. And then Cedar Fort's Fire Department was with us, and we did joint trainings together. And then Saratoga Springs came on, and they had their station, and then that's just all booming now. And can you imagine? It's just grown so much.
Oh yeah.
And
in the past just
I
like
loved
2
it.
years, it's bananas what's going on out there.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. So my partner and I back then, and some of the guys on the crew are still my friends, and their wives were the ones who had a problem with females in the past. Because we would have to be around their men all the time. And then you have this personality like me, who's outgoing and friendly and all bubbly and all that stuff. They're like, ooh, who is that girl around our husbands?
How dare you?
Right, kind of a thing. But then once they got to know me and they were like, oh, she's just one of the guys. Oh my gosh, she's so cool. Now they're my best friends, and I'm, hang around them all the time. We do things together, and it's just fun. So, but being a woman is hard on a department at first, especially doing the fit testings, and they have all the competitions that we do, and we're never going to be. Because there are some women that are like men, but I just don't have that kind of strength. But you get my legs going, I can beat you in anything because my legs are powerhouses. My upper body's not so much, right? Awesome. But it was awesome. I loved it. I would recommend it to anybody because there are some really amazing people, and the people out on Eagle Mountains Fire Department will always be my family and my brothers, and I love them.
That's fantastic.